Welcome to another episode of The Book of Jake. My name is Jake Abdullah, and we have a very special guest in the studio. But before that, guys, I need you to like, subscribe, and also help out the channel. If you can, comment, tell me what you want to speak about, and we'll talk about it, okay? Without wasting any time, this is Adam Lobo. So Adam Lobo is the host of Adam Lobo TV, and is also Malaysia's best tech reviewer and YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
So you are the best, huh?
Yeah, I would love to be. Coming from your mouth, I think that is a huge blessing already. So, yes.
Okay, we'll get straight into it. I know your journey, but it'll be good to share for people who are just getting into this endeavor or job of being a YouTuber and stuff like. Even for me, if I can pick up some tips. But share your journey. I know Adam as a rock star from the band Dragon Red. And how you move on. You were actually having dreads and stuff, and how you have moved on, and the transition to this, and where did you learn the skill of all this tech stuff?
Just to not go too technical in this, I think the journey started off of me always being a tech fan. Right? Mm-hmm. I've always been, even during my time in Dragon Red and even working for event management and stuff, I was always been the kind of guy who people call to ask for tech advice. Like, what headphones should I buy? What smartphone should I buy? I wasn't very good at writing articles. So I was very into YouTube before YouTube was the state that it is today. I work out like you every day. So what I did is that instead of me typically having my cardio session watching Netflix, I wanted to dive in deeper into this whole creating videos. Okay. I did not know how to use a camera. I did not know what is an aperture value. I
still don't know what aperture is. You talk about it a lot, but I know it's light coming into your camera or something.
Yes, light coming into the lens and it gives you a nice shallow depth of field. It's okay. I'll go through with you. I went into this with zero knowledge, with zero people like giving me advice. So every single knowledge was on YouTube. I learned what is the best cameras to use, what's the best microphone to use. And instead of me writing an article, because blogs is still an in thing, but that time I felt like I wanted to go into the YouTube space or the video space. Okay. I did all of my research, and then eventually I practiced for about 10 months, just practicing without having my first craft out. And then I started this YouTube channel reviewing tech, and the response has been great when I first started off. And
what was your first YouTube about? What's your
very good question? Very good question. I started off YouTube being more interested on smart home stuff. So my first video was about a smart bulb, whereby you can use your voice to turn it on and off.
Oh wow! Okay.
And you can use an app, and no matter where you in the world, you can do that. But when I did the smart bulb video, my audience was more from the US side, more than Malaysia. And then when I pivot to doing handheld devices like smartphone, only then my audience grew more from Malaysia than the US, because I felt that it made more sense for me from a long-term perspective to have my audience to be here in Malaysia first before it goes internationally.
How many subscribers you have? Like 100,000 or something like that?
Currently, the last I checked is about 152,000 or so. So, yeah.
So how long did it take you to get there?
It's been quite a journey. It took us around maybe...
You say us because you have many people working for you?
So Adam Lobo TV has its own team. It started off with me, and then eventually I got one video editor. Now I have two. Okay. I have one guy who's doing a tech writing, another guy who does my graphic, another guy who's my QC guy. So we have a total of 6 people within the team. And it took us about 5 to 6 years, to be honest, to reach the 100,000 marker. But from the 100,000 to 50,000, it was about a year. So it seems like when you reach the so-called threshold, I don't know how the YouTube algorithm works, but it seems like when you reach the threshold of 100,000 subscriber, it will kind of push a bit more, because I guess YouTube sees it as a serious thing. Okay. But at the same time, there were some ups and downs when it comes to the numbers, but I was so obsessed with the numbers at the beginning stage, but eventually, when we had a discussion within the team, we just wanted to create something where we are proud of, whether or not it hits or does not hit. At least you go back like, remember this video that we did? So, that is...
So, among all your videos, what's the video that you are most proudest of?
It's always been the two types of topics that we have. One of the topics is that reviewing older devices in year 2024. So I did like a revisit video of the iPhone 10. I did a revisit video of the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, which right now is already at S24, going to S25. that has always been a video where we are proud of, and the audience has always been very happy with that. I love tours. So I like to showcase a lot of smart home stuff.
So you get flown into a lot of places and to review stuff, right? Yeah. So when you do this, the most interesting stuff, places you've been, I know you go for these Apple conventions and stuff.
Yeah. So I've been to Apple Park 3 times in my life.
Apple Park is in the US,
Yeah, it's in Cupertino, California.
And they fly in business class.
Met Mr. Tim Cook 3 times as well. And I've also flown across other areas. Like, for example, I've been to Korea for Samsung's launch for the Flip and the Fold last year. And I've been traveling a lot when it comes to doing this kind of tech events to be hands-on. I also flew to China, I think about 5 or 6 times with Huawei, because I love the technological aspect of things, because I love to cover things which is not so much on the handheld devices. So having the tech idea on the implementation of 5, and right now in China it's actually 5.5G.
Wow.
And they are really great when it comes to technology, and all the back-end stuff like data centers, all these things and all may seem a bit more boring for the audience, but as a tech fan, I love this stuff. Yeah.
So one of your episodes which was really intriguing was how your speed of internet and stuff like that affects health, and you did some review on China and how they're using tech to actually, sort of look at health and stuff like that. So maybe you want to address that a bit.
That's a very good question. I feel like what they have done is really great and beneficial. I think the idea that, Huawei is out to get there to grab people's data is totally untrue. I will really honestly say that. What they have done to
Sure, they're not paying you, huh?
No, they're not.
Okay.
They have improved in so many ways. The latest one, which I went for MWC, which is called Mobile World Congress in Shanghai.
Oh, Shanghai,
Yeah, so there's 2. There's one in Barcelona. There's another one in Shanghai. So the latest Shanghai one I went, they have this thing called the elderly robot, and also LiDAR sensors placed around your house.
Okay.
So if you have any elderly who falls down, they will find it and trigger it as an abnormal movement, and then it will trigger, and then the elderly robot will come to the exact location on where the elderly has fallen down, and then just have to click one button in case they want to video call their children and stuff like that. That for me is already mind-blowing, and again brings the whole technology to a whole new level of.
Yeah, but I was reading how AI is now already detecting diseases and stuff like that people, doctors cannot. So that's amazing. So apart from phones and stuff like that, you do also home devices and stuff like, because I went to your house and there was this vacuum cleaner and stuff like. So what devices do you actually like reviewing?
Besides the handheld, the smartwatches and stuff like that, I really love appliances, because I think we just had a conversation off air whereby you talked about how you just repair a device and it costs so much. These days, you don't have to always buy this kind of devices.
I paid $900 to repair a Dyson thing. I'm sorry, Dyson. Yeah.
I agree. So you don't have to get a Dyson vacuum, right? Right now, there's so many different other brands like Roborock, Abbott, Xiaomi, and all, which does a way better job with a fraction of the cost. So although I know that the audiences may not like a lot of those appliances videos, but we as creators, I get a sense of satisfaction. And the boys
using
also,
them, when I
use them. Yeah. So I always use my devices about 2 weeks before I plan to purchase it and to help people make a purchase decision. So I feel like other than the typical handheld devices that we use daily, I love appliances and smart home stuff.
Here's another good question I'm going to ask you. So when you start to compare, Maker A with Maker B, or Dyson with whoever, or, does this affect your future earnings?
It does, but I did not do this specifically for money, because if I did it for money, there's a lot of decisions that I would have.
But of course, it's a financial decision. You need Adam Lobo TV needs to stay afloat and pay salaries and 6 people. What I'm trying to get at is, assuming I'm X manufacturer of a phone and I come to Adam Lobo and I say, Adam, I want you to do this, and you find that it's not a favorable phone, how do you then review this?
I don't review them.
Okay.
I already have 2 brands who have decided not to work with me because I decided not to work with them.
So you make the decision whether you want to take the job or not.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
Okay.
So I'm in a very I would say a lucky position to be that whereby I can say no to certain things. I know at the beginning stage, especially when you're building a company, you have to take everything. But I think as year pass by, I think what's more valuable than money is actually the audience trust. And I find
integrity.
So having the integrity and having the audience trust, they know that, if Adam Lobo is going to review and he's going to say this, it means something.
It's true, because I usually will call him and say, hey, I want to buy this. And he says, hey, this one, no, I go and get it from Shopee or whatever and stuff like so, which is actually quite true. So you're a good resource, and as long as you don't sell out, I guess you're going to go really far. So what are your other plans for Adam Lobo TV? Is there going to be a second host, third host? Are you going to delve into, I know like Paul Tan from Cars started doing insurance and is getting into other stuff. What are the other pivots that you're thinking about?
I think one of the things which I really wanted to do, which did not kick off very well, was actually to have a content creator space whereby, it's a place whereby any content creators can go in, do a podcast, do like, your TikTok stuff and all. I want the Adam Lobo Media Group, which is the company, to be a host of a collection of different services that we provide and also certain talents. I have gone into the idea of having different hosts, but I couldn't find the right one yet. There were a few. I would love to. There were a few that I had in mind, but they did not lack. They lacked the passion, which I could see. I've actually interviewed.
So what are the attributes that you look for in a host like this?
I think first and foremost is the knowledge on tech in general, to have their own opinion on stuff, because I love dividing opinions. Like, even though whether it's tech or non-tech related, like unfortunately, one of my tech writers is a huge Manchester United fan. So I'm like, and he's
never hire those people.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. So sometimes it's nice to have the banter. At the same time, it's nice to have the different opinions. But I think Adam Lobo TV's hiring process has to be someone who's very passionate towards tech, someone who has a little different type of knowledge. Like, for example, I'm not a huge gamer. So I would love to have a host who has a bit more gaming experience so that we can kind of tackle that gaming industry, because I feel like we are not covering as much as we possibly can. So when I get the right host, it's not that I'm going to totally retire and, I'm definitely going to do something, but I think like certain things like appliances, I think having a female host for appliances kind of makes sense because...
Why? I think that's so stereotype.
I'll tell you why. Because vacuum, for example, because we go to the gym, we can carry all these devices ourselves. Like when you have a female person doing the work, they need to give their honest opinion on whether or not they feel tired after 20 minutes. It's nothing to do with being sexist or anything like. It's more like, I feel like it makes sense for them because in the end of the day...
He vacuums his own house.
Thank you. Yeah. So I think that is one of the things. And then, like I said, from a gamer's perspective, because I'm a Mac user, I don't use Windows daily. So having someone who is a hardcore PC gamer kind of person, I feel at least it can pivot out our overall direction as opposed to just typically doing the reviews that I love. Yeah.
Okay. So now to the fun part, I'm going to ask you some questions. You can choose not to answer them. Okay. So which might put you in the spot.
Yeah.
Just a quick segue was you said Windows or Mac. So Windows or Mac?
Mac, I won't hesitate at all because I think among all the devices that I've used, I've been using the Mac the longest.
Okay.
Like I've been using it for about 20 years now.
Okay. iPhone or Samsung?
Okay. Again, I won't hesitate. I will say the iPhone because I am within the ecosystem of things.
Okay.
Having the Apple Watch, having Fitness Plus, having the Apple TV, having Apple CarPlay in the car. That's the reason why I started off. I only started using, for audiences who know me, I only started using the iPhone since the iPhone 12. Prior to that, I was always just all the way Android, but I was using the Mac. But when I started using the iPhone 12, I realized that was like the missing
You'll be happy
link.
to know I got the iPhone 15.
Oh,
okay.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to wait for the 16. Okay.
Okay.
We'll have a conversation later.
Since you said, I watch your Garmin watch.
I love the Apple Watch a lot because it has, like, again, the ecosystem is one thing. It has the ecosystem and it has, I do meditation daily and having that to control on my watch without having my phone next to me has been really a good blessing. So after I'm done with my gym, I don't even have to bring my phone. My phone is always at home, and I just go upstairs to my rooftop floor and just do a medication. Everything's done within a watch. And if I were to do any Apple Fitness Plus related stuff, it's on the TV. So the ecosystem is what makes me tie into the watch. I wouldn't say that this is the best watch in the world. So is the iPhone, so is the Mac. But when you're into this ecosystem, that's where you start to realize that this makes things a bit easier for us as users. And ultimately, that is what we want to do. We want to reduce friction as much as we can.
Okay, so Liverpool or Manchester United?
What a question. Liverpool, hands down.
So any parting words and any advice you can give for anybody who wants to start a YouTube channel, and and any tech tips you can give as help to people who, like you've given me so much tech stuff and to just the average Joe. Yeah.
My parting words, or what I would say, is that I know it sounds cliche as hell, but really follow your passion. And yes, it's important for us to choose between being a kind of person who has integrity and also doing things like, for example, like making money from a business. Make sure you have a fine line. But ultimately, when you start things, any single thing, I think for you also, Abang, when it comes to starting the podcast, please be prepared that you may not get immediate monetary value into it.
I'm fine with that.
Yes, exactly.
So integrity. I think you're talking about integrity. Don't sell out.
Exactly. Yeah. So having the passion first comes in, and when you are at the level of making money, being a sellout is the worst thing could ever happen, because audiences are very smart. They will know.
They'll pick up. Yeah.
They will pick up. So like going back to like why I don't review certain brands is because when I review certain brands and they start saying that, oh, you should not mention this, if I don't mention it, my audiences are smart. They will point out and say, hey, Adam, how come you didn't mention about this? That's why it kills the integrity, and that will long-term will kill your career or even your outcome as a person who's representing that particular topic or brand. Yeah.
So what device or what tech stuff that is something that you can't live with?
Very good question. Is my Mac. I can live without my phone. I can live without my watch. I really need my laptop to a point whereby like my next to my bedside is my Mac. On my dining table is my Mac. And I have like a Mac studio with a 3-monitor setup. So
I've seen that's amazing.
I feel I cannot live without a Mac. I can walk even without my car. I'm fine. I can walk to anywhere, but I need to have my laptop or my Mac.
Fantastic. So Adam Lobo TV is on YouTube as Adam Lobo TV, right?
Yes,
he's also on Instagram as Adam Lobo TV.
Yep.
And for the best advice, for the best tips on tech stuff and all that, please check him out. It's an old buddy of mine. Okay, so thanks for watching. Again, subscribe, like, and please support the channel. Comment on what you'd like to hear, and we'll see you again soon.